How are you doing, gardeners? Today's video is all about canning our vegetables. And today's, there's no other better canning process to me than canning vegetable soup. Because vegetable soup is everything that you grow. You can combine everything at one time into one nice jar. That's what this is. Now, we did turn that around and we added some roast beef, chuck roast to be exact. And it's a multi-day process the way I chose to do it. Altogether, I went 3 days just to do this in stages. And I hope this all makes sense to you here in the future. So what I did was, on day one, is I went ahead and I took two 5.5 pound chuck roasts and I crock potted them. I got them cooked down. That went into the refrigerator. We added some ingredients to that, some French onion soup and beef broth. We went from there. Then the big thing is I added about a gallon of vegetables, whether we're talking potatoes, we're talking celery, we're talking carrots, talking bell peppers, and it's all in the video there. The only thing offline that I didn't get to share with you is I did use about 3/4 gallon of tomatoes processed. And what I do is I stewed the tomatoes, and it's very simple. You just removing the skins and putting the rest of the pulp into the pot. That's what it is. So I did that. I did about 5 pounds of potatoes. The other thing that's offline is I didn't show you is me working with the corn. I did about a half a gallon of sweet corn. That's in here. We do grow some celery. We grew everything's in there except for the French onion soup of ours. And we didn't have any of our squashes in yet, and unfortunately we didn't have a turnip. So it's the only thing there that we really didn't throw in there, the turnips and beets, and it's not because we didn't want to, just didn't have any at the time. So, but vegetable soup is a wonderful soup that you can do on your own. All we did was add some salt, pepper, and we did add some thyme to it. We did add some thyme to our soup later on. So stage one is I cooked my meat with the beef broth and the French onion soup that I bought out of the can. That's the only thing I did. I do like the flavor of French onion soup. Put that in for some seasoning. So that goes in the fridge. Next thing we got to do, and thankfully we have a big cooler that can keep all this, is I went ahead and I cooked and processed all of my vegetables, added my meat to the mixture, and I got everything put together. Now that takes a long time. I'm just letting you know, and I did it by myself, and so I'm also having to do some farm work on the side as well, obviously. So I got all that together. Now the reason, after I put all the ingredients together, and I brought everything up to a nice simmer and everything, simmer, not a boil, simmer, and so everything's in there together. My season's in there. And what I do is I let it sit overnight. And then the next day I bring it back up to that simmer and I want to taste test it. I want to see what else does it need. That's my own method to doing that. You can do it all in one day if you want. But I know that for me is that when I go to do my canning, I like to, especially a soup, I want to know what it's going to taste like tomorrow. It seems like you want all them flavors to meld together, and then that gives you a better picture of where you're at. The day that I cook, it's not quite there yet, so it just takes time. So I let it sit back there, I bring it back up, and I decided I want to put some thyme with it. You can do whatever you want. The beautiful thing about vegetable soup is you put in it what you want to put in it. I did put some jalapeno in it. I did put some green pepper in it. And you know what? There's no taste of jalapeno in it. It's going to be a nice little kick, I think, when it comes around and when you have it on your plate. But as far as the heat, it's not there. So it's wonderful. And those jalapenos do have some heat to them if you were to have a jalapeno popper. So these things work together and meld into, just like the movie Ratatouille, where the mouse talks about how all this comes together and how wonderful it is. Well, that's kind of what happens right here in this soup container of mine. You put in it what you want to put in it. You go with it. If you want more of a potato soup, then you do a potato soup. Whatever you want. That's a good idea. I think I might do some potato soup. Stay with us here. Forgive me for maybe omitting a little bit of the corn and the tomato process. I do have a stewed tomato process. It's very simple to do. Go back and look at my canned stewed tomatoes. It's very simple. It's easy for you to do there. The corn, very simple, shucking it or cutting it off the cob and putting that into the soup as well. So other than that, I think I brought you guys along for the entire process. Just little bits here and there that you do. You know, I just added a little seasoning. The other thing I guess I added, and I didn't, and it's in the video, but I want to make sure it's added, is in addition to salt and pepper and sage, I did add some accent seasoning. Accent, ACCENT. You've seen it in the grocery store. It is an MSG. I believe it's from from a seaweed or kelp formulation, and it just kind of enhances the flavors of your food. And I learned that a long time ago. Totally healthy for you. Very healthy for you. Don't let the acronym MSG be the problem for you on it. Research it yourself. MSG or accent's very healthy for you. Doesn't hurt a thing, and it actually improves the flavor of your food. So I did add that in there to my taste, and that's why it's important to have that extra day to decide where it is. The next thing, then the last thing I'm going to say regarding this soup is to understand that when I go to can, I keep the flavors on the lower side of my palate. Don't go too much. You know, if you're a peppery type of a person, like I like a lot of pepper in my food, don't do it now. Just make sure it's flavorful, but don't make it too peppery, because maybe your spouse or your friend or your guest, they won't like as much pepper in it. So stay on the lower side of the palate is what I'm suggesting when you're canning, because you can't go backwards when you cook, right? I mean, we know it when we all have made something, we went too far, whether you're using Tabasco or whatever the case is, right? Or too much salt. We got to stay on that add a little bit at a time, let it set. So that's the importance of going to day 3, allowing all this stuff to give us a better picture of how good our soup is, or our food is going to be. So folks, if you like these types of videos, do us a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Come grow with us. Doing something a little different I didn't show you last year, and that's starting it from the very beginning. This for me is actually a 2-day deal. I go ahead and I cook my meat up on day 1. It takes a few hours to get it done, and then I can start adding other ingredients and that type of thing. The first thing I do is I'm going to start out with 12 fluid ounces of beef broth. The next thing I have is I have 2 chuck roasts at about 5.5 pounds of chuck roast. So those are the 2 things we're going to start with today. We're going to get busy and we'll start seasoning it now. So let's go ahead and get that part of it done. I've already dumped the beef broth into the crock pot, and let's go ahead and start seasoning up our roast. Let's get that done, and we'll keep moving forward here.
So one of the things we're going to add to it is fresh garlic from our garden. What was the bigger ones that you planted?
Oh, the German Giants.
German Giants. These are so big that I actually have to cut them in half so they can fit a clove press or garlic press.
Go ahead and
otherwise they won't fit in there.
Yeah.
And so it's a really nifty little thing. It has little holes in the bottom so that when you press it, it just all squishes out the back. And
you need your knife, don't you?
Knife, yeah. It'll just scrape it off, and you see all the garlic juice just pouring out the bottom. So I'm gonna do that with all of them. I'm just gonna put them in there and squish them through.
About how many?
There is 4 of the big ones, which I had to cut, like I said, because it's too big.
4 big cloves is what you put into it. And the nice thing is, all of this is going to go right back into our stock pot when we're making it. So nothing's being left behind as it did.
Right. If they're too big, it doesn't let the little lever go down. There we go.
Yeah, you can see the juice just squirting out of them. Yeah.
See, look how big those things are.
Yeah, that is.
And that's a small one.
That's a small. That's a small
so I didn't
clove.
cut that one because that one fits. But some of the other ones are so big.
Yeah, this is going to make quite a few quarts of soup. The one thing, you enjoyed my soup, right?
It was good.
But the only thing you wish it had.
My only complaint was more meat.
She wanted it meatier, and I think Delia. I think this year we're going to make it a little bit more stewed-like than a little more hearty. Let's call it that. I like it as a soup, and I guess a soup would be fine too. But you kind of liked it. You just want it meatier. That was the main thing.
Thicker soup, yeah.
A thick, yeah. So, yeah, it's getting really full here. Let me give a squeeze on it because I know you've been...
What I do is I will.
Okay, you'll go ahead and run it through.
I will kind of, yeah.
Okay, it'll come back
push
out.
everything around, and then I squeeze it through again. And that's probably it.
Okay. Very good. So 4 cloves of garlic is what we've added. All right. That's
for a huge one.
For this. Yeah, for this. So let's go ahead and season our meat here. Okay, we'll go ahead and take this cover off. And let's go ahead and we're going to use salt and pepper. And I like this. It's a lot of meat here. So I salt it pretty heavy.
Not too heavy.
And then put some pepper on it. Let's cover that in pepper. Let's flip them over and repeat the process. Yeah, these are chuck roast. I think chuck roast, nice thing about it is it, you know, probably closely resembles pulled pork in its consistency. Falls apart very nicely after cooking. Easy piece of meat to roast. There we go. All right. So we're going to ahead and set that into our pot and get it going. So let's do that. And because I'm just going to stack them one right on top of the other in this case, and I normally would not ever have to do this, but but in this case, I'm making such a big quantity that I'm going to go ahead and cook them both at the same time. So it's going to be a few hours. We'll get back to you here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put it on high and get her cooking. Oh, one other ingredient I forgot to add. Hold on a second. Let's go ahead and go back to it. Yeah, this is okay. This is the last thing. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 can of French onion soup. That was the other thing we were going to add this year. Yep, I just forgot about it. There we go. Yeah, 1 can of cream of onion soup. I'm going to add just a little water to rinse it out. Other than that, that's it. So that I'm glad I remembered it because I didn't want to miss that one out on it for you folks. All right, so I have the meat done in the crock pot. So what I'm going to do is I want to parboil a little bit of potatoes. Just go ahead and give them about, I don't know, around 5 minutes. About how long I'm going to put them in for a little bit of a boil. But I'm going to use our red potatoes. The potatoes here, these are potatoes we grown, so I'm going to use red. You can use Yukon, use whichever ones you want, but that's what I'm going to do. And I'll put all my, I'll go ahead and peel them. All the scrapings can go in our compost and on the next line. So let me go and get this done. This is the very first thing I'm going to do for our vegetable beef soup. Well, now that I have my potatoes peeled, I'm actually going to go, before I boil them, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to cut them into our bite-sized pieces. It's just easier to peel them. So whatever you feel is a proper bite size for you and your family, then now's the time I do it right now. So that's what I say. When I get this, basically when I get this to a boil, I'm just going to leave it on for a minute, and then minute or two and shut it off because I don't want to overcook it. Because remember, there's going to be cooking when it goes through the actual canning process. That's a 90-minute deal. So what I'm doing here, I'm just cutting it up into small, nice-sized pieces, something like that you can put on your spoon or poke with a fork or what have you. Just kind of like getting a piece of potato in every bite type of a deal. And the next thing I have to do is I need to also get my carrots peeled as well, and I will parboil them just a little bit just to soften them up. So let me go and keep going here on that. But yeah, just getting some real nice little pieces of potato. And you know, if you got turnip, it'd be good to have a turnip in there if you want to put a turnip or two. Kind of a nice treat with your in your vegetable soup. Anything right now that we want to go ahead and parboil a little bit and we need to get peeled, now's the time we're going to do it. So I'll keep going here. I have, like I said, I actually have about 5 pounds of potatoes is what I'm electing to do. You make it as much as complicated as you want. Fill that old stock pot up, and I guess if your pot gets full and you don't have any room for water, then you have a stew, right? So anyway, just a little joke, but this is your soup, your stew. Make it the way you want to make it. I don't put any seasoning in until I heat it up. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to heat it up and make my stew or my soup. And then tomorrow, after it sits for a day, and I can taste test it, I think sometimes it's good to let the flavors meld together, especially from the meat that I put in and everything in it. So we're going to do this. Today it's all about getting all the ingredients parboiled, prepared, get them in the pot, heat everything up. Let's see how it turns out. Let's do a little seasoning in it, salt, pepper, whatever you want to put in it. That's entirely up to you. I just want to make sure to remember that when we go to season our soup, to go light on it right now. Don't try to have a finished product, in my opinion. Have it to where you're happy with it, but save room for when you go to take it out of the jars. Maybe at that time you may want to add a little more spice or whatever the case is. So generally speaking, I get my salt and pepper on the low side of my flavor palette, and then when I'm actually cooking it and I think it might need a little bit more, I might choose to add another flavor to it, you know, rosemary or basil or whatever. I can do it at that time. So this is basically, I guess you could say, I'm making a soup that I can use in the future. Maybe even as I've actually put my soup inside of the crock pot when I did a roast beef dinner later on. So it's always very good. It's nice to have that little extra soup characteristic in some of my roast beef in there. So anyway, I'll keep going here. I got a lot of potatoes to cut up. All right, so I have all of my potatoes cut up. I'm going to go ahead and take my carrots now, peel them, and then I can slice them. The great thing about vegetable soup is it certainly is a memory of your vegetable season, right? I mean, you just got a little bit of everything, and you have a window where you can just about catch everything in it, but not, you know, and then all of a sudden that window's gone from that early season to late season and that. And what I do is cut off each end. Then for me, I'm going to actually go ahead and I'm going to split these. Oop. On the fat end. There we go. And then the other part I'm just going to chop off, and these are going to go in with my potatoes. So this way they can go and be parboiled as well. Get those just nice chunks in there. And oh, I didn't get quite cut all the way through. There we go. This way it seems like I get the idea being is for me is I just want a little bit of carrot, and just like the potatoes, I want a carrot in every bite type of a deal. And you cut them however you want to cut them. That's for certain. There's no rules here. There we go. All right, I'm going to keep going here. Continue doing some carrots. So in addition, in my preparation, I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to cut up probably about 3 total onions. Get them in the pot and into small bite-sized pieces. And I'm also going to take some celery. I said in the pot. Actually, I'm going to put them in the skillet. And I'm going to take a stick of butter, and I'm going to actually kind of caramelize the celery and the onions prior to actually putting them in the stew pot. This way, I like those cooked down a little bit more. You may choose to have them with more crunch to it and stuff. In my case, I like it a little bit softer, a little more of your cream of celery type of consistency. So right now I'm just going to go and cut these up into small pieces, certainly, and then I'm going to put them in my skillet with a stick of butter, and I'm going to cook that down. I'll get this done, and then I'll bring you along with me. Now the onions I'm putting in there because we went a little too deep on that one. Because we actually had our white onion superstar. That's what this one is. And then we have our Walla Wallas, Texas Sweet, red candy. And so anyway, I'm putting a little bit of each of them in there. All of them have a little different flavor, you know, and that's half the fun too. You know, the idea for me in this soup, because I could easily go buy a can of soup and have that instead of doing all this work. But from my perspective, I just want a little of everything that we grew, you know, including the celery. Put it all in there. And Delia's going to look for a turnip for me in a minute. When she gets home, she's on her way. She was at the Auburn Farmers Market. But anyway, yeah, I just put a little bit, I just want a little bit of everything. And let me kind of dump some of that in my bucket. But, yeah, they all have their own unique flavors is what I really like about the different varieties. And I think it's going to be, I don't think I can overwhelm my soup at all. She's also going to bring up some jalapeno. Not putting many in it. I'm not making a Mexican meal. But remember, this is going to be a pretty big pot of soup that I'm making. And so there'll be plenty. Just a little bit of added natural heat from our own produce there. And sticking a little bell pepper in there. Just a little bit of everything. It's going to be our vegetable soup, you know. And I'm really looking forward to really looking forward to it. And I tell you that red onion in there, boy, it looks just so nice, doesn't it? I mean, it adds some nice color. That's going to be nice to have, and there I think I'll even put another red onion in it, just add a little bit more color, because I really like the way that looks. So, and it's all going to be caramelized. There's not going to be anything not only caramelized, but of course it has to go through the 95 minutes of pressure cooking. So these are going to be, there won't be anything too terribly hot per se, or oniony. And I know for many of you, you could have had this job done 30 minutes ago, but that's all right. I don't pretend to be a professional cook, but I am a professional eater, so I got that going for me. Let me go ahead and get that, dump that in. Now these are that yellow, this superstar, this white onion, it's very poignant. You guys know what I'm talking about there, so I'm gonna go and cut out that middle, and then I'll finish cutting this up. I hate letting anything go to waste. I'll use it, and Get that done. I imagine most folks would just toss this outer layer. They're kind of harder to cut, that outer layer, a little bit, but there we go. All right, I'm going to put one more red in it because I just think there we go. That red's got a little blemish, nothing wrong with it. We won't sell it to our customers just because it doesn't look very pretty. We'll just cut that part out and see it's already off. So we're good there. There we go. So, but we'll use it. Toss this in the trash there. Alright, let me take off that outer skin. Same as the other side. Just start cutting it down. God, look how beautiful that is. Isn't that something? Red candy is such a beautiful onion. You want to make your salad or your meal kind of stand out. Add some red candy to it. And it has wonderful flavor. Alright, so I kind of made my bloomin' onion look. Now I'll go ahead and chop it into smaller pieces. We're in the 70s right now. It's hard to believe, but we had a storm front come in. And honestly, as I cut up this onion, I kind of getting the hankering for some chili. Kind of gets that fall feel to it. Okay. So again, I am going to be adding water to this. In addition to this, I like it as a soup. You can make it as a stew if you want. There we go. There we go. So I got a third of a gallon of onions. That's kind of how it turned out. And that really wasn't very many onions. That was onion number 4. So these are just big onions. So I have that, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut up my celery. And we're not very good celery farmers, but we got a little bit. And I love celery in my stuffing. I like celery soup. But if you ask me to eat celery, I really do not like that. Not at all. I really can't sit here and eat celery. It doesn't have a good flavor that way. But caramelized in butter, turkey gizzards cooked in with it, boy, I can eat that. I'm going to throw in the leaves or everything. I haven't heard the leaves are like our rhubarb. Won't poison you. There we go. We're going to put some cabbage in this as well. So if you guys can put whatever you want in your vegetable soup. That's the beautiful part about it. Isn't that beautiful? There we go. Had a piece. Just cut them into small pieces. This is going to cook down. Like I said, I'm going to caramelize all this in butter. And then it goes in the sauce pot at that stage. I don't trust the cooking process to tenderize celery. That's how much I don't like to have raw celery. Even though it's going 90 minutes, I love the flavor of caramelized celery. So I'll be okay there. You do gotta watch out on dairy products when you're canning. It's probably advised for a lot of it that you, if you want to put in, say like a chowder, avoid putting the milk in at the canning, but rather can your corn chowder. And maybe we'll make some corn chowder here. I got a little bit, but maybe we'll make some corn chowder. But you do it without the milk, and then you add it after the canning process is over at a later date when you're ready to actually eat it. So you can put some milk in it there. There we go. I have all of that ready now, and I have a little bit more. We'll see. I'm going to cut up some of that pepper, some jalapeno. I'm going to put that in there. Bell, put that in there, and we'll caramelize it and get it ready for the sauce. I mean, that's quite a bit right there. Just imagine how much stuff we're gonna have in this soup. I hope my pot's big enough. That's okay. I actually got 2 pots if I need to, so it doesn't bother me at all. We can go ahead and use the second pot if we need to. But one way or the other, we're gonna have a great vegetable soup. I loved it so much. We're doubling, tripling, whatever the recipe. But that's what I'm hungry for. So go with your gut. So the next item I'm putting in with my celery and my onion is okra. So we have some okra here, and just gonna go ahead and cut that up and put that in our soup as well. Like I said, you can do whatever you want to do. This is a complete vegetable soup. I do these pretty thin.
Jalapenos and peppers, that's it.
Jalapenos and peppers. That's what else we need. So anyway, so Delia's gonna go out and get that in. We have some nice red cabbage. I'm not putting a lot in there, but putting a little bit. You can get a red pepper for color. Yeah. Yeah. And so anyway, we're gonna cut up some of this. I'm gonna saute our okra with the celery and onions. That's all gonna go in there. It's gonna be quite a full pot, but it's gonna be good. The one thing it is I don't care for the okra being slimy. That's the only thing bad about okra, is it gets slimy. But boy, it sure does taste good. Okay, so I got some nice Italian fryer and some turnpike, and so we're gonna put that in there, and I have some nice jalapenos. I'm gonna mix that in, and yeah, this kind of the way this scrunches up. I have to kind of get the seeds out.
Do your best.
Yeah, do my best. Do my best. Get the seeds out. Maddie, you want a piece of pepper? I know you like pepper. Here you go. She likes sweet pepper.
Yeah, don't put jalapenos.
Yeah. You don't see old Maddie down here, but here, I'll show you. Maybe you think I'm lying. I'm gonna get the Maddie. Here's a piece of pepper. Ready? There you go. Yeah. Green pepper eating dog. All right. I didn't believe it either the first time I saw it, but she does like her pepper. All right. So now I'll go ahead. I put a stick of butter into my pan, and we'll melt that, and we'll go ahead and we're going to caramelize all of these wonderful vegetables we just finished. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of veggies. I think I might have to scoop some of that out and do a round 2 of it. That's what I'll do. All right, so I have my potatoes and carrots. Unfortunately, we didn't have any turnips to go into it. We'd already sold all of them, so boo-hoo, because I would have enjoyed that. But all right, so I have all my potatoes done. Everything's drained. I'm gonna go and put them in the stock pot, get that part going, having that part done. We'll keep that going. All right, dumping them in our new stock pot. Yep, it's all drained. Well, maybe not. A little bit more came out, didn't it, do you?
Yep.
All right. Nice. All right. Scrape this. The outside of the potatoes is soft, but it's still very firm in this middle. Plenty of room, so we got that done. Have plenty of room in our pot. Delia's got part of the.
Trying to get most of the butter melted.
Yep, trying to get the butter melted. Going to just kind of caramelize these a little bit. Really want to soften up that okra and the. What else do I have in there?
Peppers, onions.
Oh, and the celery. That's the other celery. So it's look how beautiful that is. Nice and green color. So we'll do that, and I have some cabbage here as well. So I'm going to go ahead when we go to do this other part of this, and I'm also going to finish sauteing the rest of this when we do that. So anyway, going to have a real nice soup by the time we're done. Everything just needs to be, like I said, the celery, I like to have it sauteed down a little bit. Even the cabbage, I like to have it a little softer. I know 90 minutes of cooking. We'll do a lot of it at 10 pounds PSI, but I'm going to go ahead and cook it down a little bit with us. So we're just going to caramelize it. But with the cabbage and everything, with the okra and the onion and the celery, I'd like to have that a little bit more caramelized, and then we'll do the rest of it. So we'll keep going here, but this is I tell you, this is going to add a lot of flavor to this. So we'll just go ahead and cover this up and let that caramelize. All right, so we got that. I'll show you the next batch here. Got that really nice and caramelized in the pot. I'm going to go ahead and shred this cabbage. I want it small enough. Remember, it's a soup, so we don't need a great big cabbage right now. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down. Okay, so I'll go ahead here and cut this cabbage down. This red cabbage is just a real nice tight head of cabbage. Goodness gracious. Look at how tight that cabbage is. My gosh, look at that. So I'll quarter it. I'll go and cut the stem down. Make it a little easier to cut everything else. Get rid of that stem. Maddie likes cabbage.
She loves cabbage.
Here. Maddie, prove to everybody you like cabbage.
Maddie?
Maddie, right here. Hey, right, hey.
She's deaf.
Maddie, look at that. There you go. Oh, there it is. Crunch, 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 crunch. That is a cabbage pepper eating fool.
She's a vegetarian.
She's a vegetarian that will eat meat. How about that? All right, we do the same thing. I've never known that. Jerry Clower, the comedian, says that his dog ate turnip greens, and the guy says my dog won't eat turnip greens, and Jerry Clower says my dog didn't eat it either for the first 30 days. All right, so I'm going to cut this cabbage up nice and small, and it's going to be tossed also in there with the second batch. And see how nice and small that is? So I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to put it right in there in the skillet and caramelize that as well. So let me just keep this ball rolling here, and I'll show you the results here in the end. So, okay, so I have the cabbage in there now with the remaining amount of the vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of mix that in a little bit. Being careful not to knock it out, but yeah, and the next thing we're going to want to get is our tomatoes. The stewed tomatoes is how I do it. I do it the same way as I do stewed tomatoes. I simply, let's put a lid on it. There we go. Let's put a lid on it. So when I go to do my tomatoes, I do the same way as I do stewed tomatoes. I remove the skins, let some of the juice go away, and then I go ahead and I just use the whole tomato. I'm going to put the whole tomato in my pot, probably Just you go with your own gut feeling, because you can over tomato it or you can under tomato it. It's your call on that. Myself, I'm probably going to be using probably close to 20 tomatoes for this pot altogether. Maybe a few more. We'll look at it and see. I kind of got to gauge it as I go. But right now we have a really nice saute going on, caramelizing those vegetables. I'll show you it here in just a minute. So we'll get that done. In the meantime, I'm probably going to go ahead and stew them tomatoes, get that done. And same way with, we'll be adding some corn and perhaps adding some green beans to it as well. So we'll keep going here. Okay, so I have this all, the second batch of vegetables there, I guess you could say, they're all caramelized with the cabbage. I'm going to put that in our stew pot and get that done. So let me go and get that done. And it's tomato time, it's corn, and it's beans. So I'll get that going. Well, so now I have that. I have my corn. I have everything in there except for the meat right now. I'm going to bring all of this together. I'm going to add another beef broth in here. And then I add the meat. So I'm going to bring all this on up to temperature. So basically I'll be adding 64 ounces of total beef broth to the whole mix with the beef itself. We'll bring it all up, and it's a nice colorful soup is what it is. And we'll get this all ready to go. But gosh, look at that. Is that not nice? Beautiful. Put in, I got about 3/4 gallon of tomatoes processed. That's what's in there. You see it's got some nice color to it, but it's not really tomatoey. Just adds a little color, gonna have some wonderful flavor. It just has the whole farm involved. So that's great. Now I look forward to, we're gonna heat this all up, and then we'll be ready to start canning here before you know it. So I'll bring you guys online. I think that's where we're gonna leave it for tonight. Tomorrow we'll pick this all back up after these all get to kind of meld together, and we'll see where we're at on the palate side of things. So let's go and do that. Back at it to finish up our soup, and Delia has some, what is it, Delia?
Fresh thyme.
Fresh thyme. Yep, stripping the leaves on it. I know we could put the whole thing in there, but we just want the leaves. And just going to put that in there. Oh, it's got a wonderful aroma. You can tell they were around some weeds, because look how much they stretched out between there.
They were actually on the floor in the little pots.
Oh, they were in the pots?
These are not the ones that were outside.
Oh, okay.
These are the ones that had still inside. They never got planted outside.
Oh, well, we're getting some use out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. We are ready to fill our jars. I have a very good rolling boil right here of our soup. Let's go ahead. I'm going to fill pints. Now the first thing I'm going to put in is a little bit of liquid with the stuff in it, and then I'm going to go after the meat. There we go. I'm going to go after some more liquid. Get this very flat, and this is boiling here, so be careful. Just keep it stirred up. There we go. I have a nice clean rag with some vinegar on it, and I'm going to go ahead and put, for these pints, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt in it. got kind of ahead of myself on the wiping down. Now I gotta wipe it down. And we are pressure cooking these. There we go. We are pressure cooking these, so we're not going to have to fill the pot all the way. But I do have to be careful. We're going to go with 10 pounds pressure for 70 minutes. We'll continue on with my next one. Put that in. So we're done. Can I get one more in? If I can get one more in, I'm going to do it. And I can. All right, let's do one more. There we go. We're all in there. These are not covered. Now, real quick, one of the rules is you want to be able to look. Here, I'll show you. Let's hold it up to the light. There we go. So we do have daylight. So our hole is totally open up here. So make sure that when you go to put this on, that you have your safety vent and that your pitot tube is actually open. Let's set it on. I'll bring this over. We're going to set this on and we're going to lock it into position. There we go. Now we can lock it in place. And on this particular pressure cooker, we're going to find the side that says 10, which is right here, 10. Right on there, I'm going to put that over that. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to turn this down. What we're going to do is the countdown begins when the pressure builds up. Now we got to go 70 minutes with this. It's all locked in, but it's going to build up 10 pounds of PSI pressure in there. And this is going to start to want to jiggle. So once it starts to jiggle, I'll back the heat down so that we're looking at about 4 jiggles per minute type of a deal. Let me put the lid back on this pot to kind of hold it in. Put that down, but we have our very first batch of vegetable beef soup going in, so that's very good. But we'll come back when the countdown doesn't begin until that starts to jiggle. So it is boiling already. The water's boiling. The ingredients are boiling, so it's not going to take too long. You can see it's 4:25 p.m. So I'll bring you along as soon as that thing starts to jiggle. I'll show you. It takes a little bit of time to build up the pressure. So we'll get back to it as soon as that jiggles. There we go. It's 4:30 now. So now I'm going to go ahead down here. Let's turn that fire down. It don't take a whole lot to maintain that, but as the pressure gets built back up, it'll go. So we just need to keep this. You got to do what you got to do to maintain. I know my stove a little bit, so don't drop it down so much that you shut down the pressure cooking. But having it evaporate, release the 10 pounds, that's perfect. So the next thing, 70 minutes. Timer, 7-0, start. So my canning, the time process has begun right now. So that's what we're going to do. Everything's on board. Everything's going. We'll let this thing continue to work down its pressure. Because remember, that's hot in there, creating steam. So we'll just let that thing go. I'll keep monitoring it. I'll let you know when this pot's done. I'm gonna slide this over. Yep. So this is released. Remember, it's very hot. Let's take out our jars. Being very careful. I'm careful to tip these over just to get any hot water off at the top. And then you can see the water itself is clean, so I didn't have anything boil out. So I'm happy about that. Be careful that the you don't want to have these mistakenly like spurred out. I did read where someone says, well, they kind of quit doing that because they said they were concerned that they actually had a jar that spewed some hot liquid out of the top. So there we go. Let's go ahead and start putting these others in. There we go. I'm going to light the fire. There we go. Hit reheating it. And the process is going to begin all over. I can get one more in there, so let me get another jar. I'll finish it up, and then we'll get this next one going. Pressure cooker is reloaded. Just gotta find that sweet spot. Let me get my pot holders here. There we go. Got it. And we have to put it back on our 10 pounds where I can find it. 10 pounds. There we go. So we have, I actually already had one of them actually go ahead and ping. And when I go to wash the jars there tomorrow, they will, you know, a lot of that hard water stains will come off of them and that type of a thing. But there we got 9 pints done, and like I said, I have my heat back on. I still have plenty of soup, so I'm going to go ahead and I get the joy of having more jars out of this nice 20-quart pot. So anyway, I'll let these guys cool down some. And like I said, we got 70 minutes, and then when they cool down, I'll move them away from here. I just kind of like starting them off, but remember, these guys were under steam pressure. That's hotter than boiling, so it's very, very hot. I think steam is up around 240. I think that's right. Don't hold me to it, but check my math or Google it or whatever. But it's a very dangerous hot temperature that does the job. Now I just got to wait for this to build up its pressure again. I didn't have to add any more water. We're still good. Did have a little bit of a time trying to get this down to like the 4 to 5 releases, jiggles per minute. But anyway, I got it there, and these are high pressure cooks, so I don't have to worry about botulism. I don't have to worry about any of that. 70 minutes is how long you do pints. You do quarts in 90 minutes. So doing 70 minutes right here. So anyway, we'll keep going. Just have to wait for this next batch to get going. I got a whole nother batch, so that's wonderful. 9 more altogether. I ought to have, you know, 27 pints out of this, so I can have soup once a week, and looking forward to that.